God grieves, ever having made Saul the king. But this isn't the first time God grieved. Remember back in Genesis, God grieved when God launched that uncreation campaign that flooded the entire earth. And Noah had to build an ark in order to save a remnant, in order to repopulate earth. This is not the first time that we hear in the text that God has grieved. And in fact, I'm okay with a grieving God because if God grieves, it reminds me that God is not indifferent to the suffering of the systems and structures that create my suffering. I'm grateful that God can look at my life and see what a system of domination and a system of incarceration and a system of school and healthcare apartheid is doing to us, and God's heart breaks when God sees what the world is doing to us. Are y'all hearing me today? Anybody grateful that God is not indifferent to your pain, that God is not indifferent to the plight of your people? God grieved that slavery existed for 246 years in this country. God grieves the events of January 6th. God grieves that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. God grieves that white families possess 11 times the wealth of hard-working black families. God grieves that black women earn only 62% of what white men earn. God grieves that 1,200 people were killed by Hamas on October 7th, but God also grieves that 40,000 dead people and 90,000 injured people because of the war in Gaza. God grieves that black unemployment is twice as high as white unemployment. God grieves of underfunded schools and overworked teachers. Anybody here grateful that your God is not indifferent to the pain of your people? But it gets even better than that, because when God's heart is broken because of the grief of the world, God says, I know what's going to heal my grief. If I find another daughter or son who's willing to lean into the gifts that I've given them. That's all I'm trying to tell you in this first point, is when you do the assignment that God has given you, you start to heal the grief of God. Anybody ever thought of yourself in that way, that every time you go in the right direction, you heal God's broken heart? Every time you help somebody beyond yourself, you heal God's broken heart. Every time you give so that children can have what they otherwise wouldn't have had, you heal God's heart. Every time you stand up for the least, the last, the locked out, the left out, the pushed out, the pushed back, you heal the heart of God. Anybody grateful that you came to church today? Because God is looking for some good women and some good men that are willing to heal the nation so we can heal the heart of God. Every time you give beyond yourself, God's heart heals a little bit more. Every time you meet those who have been abused and bruised by life circumstances, you heal God's heart a little bit more. Do I have any heart healing worshipers in here today that can say, I can't let God grieve because of what I'm not doing? I want God to know if God needs a good man and if God needs a good woman, here I am, Lord, send me. I feel like I'm by myself at the Fountain Church today. Anybody know God can use you in order to heal the world, which heals God's heart?